to take an entry right before a breakout happens so you can take multiple hours from a single trade. So today we're going to be discussing about this trade here that I took a couple of hours ago together with the students from the elite community, and I'm sure that many traders at this point, they have already seen those kind of movements quite often happen, like this being one of them, and the other day we had another one which was also this one. And you might be wondering, how do you know that this small range here is going to break in this direction, and how are you able to know that you can put your stop loss so tight like this that is going to allow you to take multiple R's? So that's exactly what we're going to be discussing today. Hi, my name is Mariana. I am a senior trader at Forex, and I am the host of the New York Strategy Room from the elite community, and I'm also the head of the support team, also from the Urban Forex. And today we're going to be discussing exactly how you're going to be able to spot those kind of trades. How do you know that when you have like a small range like that, how can you anticipate that the move is going to go in this direction? So for this trade here, for example, I was able to get a total of 5.7 hours, and I saw that many students from the elite community, they were also able to take similar trades like that. So let me show you first, before I come here to cover the 4 tips that I have for you to be able to identify those kind of trades on your own starting from today. So this is here our new elite community, and the elite community has been so active, and it's amazing the amount of people, the amount of students that they were also able to take a trade on the Aussies, because the Aussies, they have been on our radar for the last couple of weeks. If you trade Forex, I'm almost sure that you have spotted a lot of activity also coming from the Aussies, especially if you have a little bit more experience. If not, maybe you're just observing, you saw the movements and you're thinking, okay, how can I take advantage of these movements? And that's what we're going to be discussing today. So for example, on this day here, May 29, which exactly today, Naveen posted this in the elite community, say May 29 Aussie CAD buy, which is exactly this trade that we're going to be discussing today. We can continue conversations of Aussie CAD here. And you're going to see there are tons and tons of students that also spotting the Aussies, not only Aussie CAD, but this was one of the pairs that were mostly on our radar, but we had the multiple Aussies that we're observing. And you can see here at the moment when the students, they started getting on the Aussies, we're having like really great discussions. We have some students that, oh no, I got a loss here, but then they managed to enter later, which is very important. We emphasize a lot this in the elite community, that even when you get a loss, first, take the opportunity to learn from it. And second, did you get a loss because your timing was wrong, or did you get a loss because your analysis was wrong? Because if your analysis is correct and you get stopped out, you should be able to enter the trade again. And if you have the right approach, the right money management, your wins, they should compensate your losses. So that's something that we've been discussing a lot in the elite community these days. So let me scroll down a little bit more. We can see here, last attempt on this sucker. I saw this student here posting later that he was able to finally get a very good trade on it. Students here mentioning all the time that, okay, I'm also looking for it. So the Aussies, they're really on our radar, including the Aussie CAD. Naveen himself, he also posted this trade that he took. So this was the beginning of it. And then he updated us later on that same trade here, Aussie CAD. So he was making about 5,000, a total of 5,000 right there. And I'm sure he was able to make much more because it had just started. In this moment when he entered the trade, the movement had just started. And you see the students here, they're very active. They're showing, I got 4 hours done here, booked 50% on this one. It's also Aussie CAD. So the elite community right now, it's really active. Like Naveen is posting his trades, students are on fire. We are discussing new information here in the elite community, and this is really a great place for us to be here trading with each other. I mean, how difficult it is to trade on your own, to do the analysis on your own. Quite often we do the analysis, but we're not able to see some details that other people are able to do it, especially if you have like similar knowledge as the others. And the elite community is really nice for us to be here discussing different pairs, trading together, supporting each other. It's just an amazing place for us to trade. So let me go for it and let me show you the Aussie CAD that I was looking. Oh my God, look at this trade taken and booked 4 hours. And this student here, he was able to book actually a total of 25 hours. This is because he was on 3 Aussie pairs, and that's how he was able to book that much hours. We have also here another student, Michael Leclerc, which was able, this is like insane. When I look at my trade, I got 6 hours from it, and I have students here saying that they got 22 hours. I'm like, you can do even better than me. That's great. I'm very proud of the students here. Got here another student saying that got this is Euro Aussie. So you can see the elite is so active with so many students posting their trades on the Aussies, and it's amazing. That's why actually we decided to make this video, because we thought, man, this can help so many other traders out there. We need to discuss about the Aussies so they can apply also this information later to their trade. Okay, so let me go back here to my charts and let me start talking about the 4 points or the 4 tips that I'm going to give you for you to be able to identify how can you anticipate you're going to have such a strong breakout, and how do you know you're going to be able to put a tighter stop loss like this. So let's start with the first tip. And the first tip is identify the right direction from the market. While they may sound quite simple and maybe a little bit silly, because you think, if I knew the right direction, then I would probably make money, right? But that's what we're going to be discussing. First, you need to identify what is the right direction you should be trading. Because if you're trying to apply the same concept, but you're in the wrong direction, you're going to have a lot of losses. You're going to blow your account. You're going to be getting stopped out, trying again, but the trade it's still going to have a tough time to perform. I cannot emphasize this more, how important it is for you to identify which direction you should be trading. So how can we identify the direction we should be focusing? First of all, whenever I look at my charts, so let's say that this morning I was doing my analysis, and when I was doing my analysis, because I usually trade the New York session with the students, and when I open my charts, we were around this area here, right? Okay, so now that it's loaded, when I look at my charts and I opened my charts this morning, I could see, for example, that price action it's just like going down, up and down, just crisscrossing the EMAs, right? So for me, I like very much to use those 3 EMAs. No specific reason, could be something similar to that, but just those EMAs, they help me to understand what is the flow from the smaller time frame, the flow from the current time frame, and the flow from the higher time frame. So for that, I use the 20 EMA, the 50 EMA, and the 200 EMAs. So they just help to understand better the overall direction from the market. And when I open my charts, let's say I open my charts here from the 15 minutes, I see that, wait, if I want to trade something, if I want to trade here, I don't know which direction to trade, because all I can see, it looks like price is actually going sideways. Price going sideways like this, how do I know that I can trade this? So this is the main question, like which direction should I be trading this? I see we have a lot of movements coming down, movement coming up, movement coming down, but should I buy or should I sell? So from this time frame, specifically from the 15 minutes, I'm not sure which direction I should be trading. So that's when I go one time frame higher. I go, for example, here, one time frame higher to the 1 hour, and I see from the 1 hour, we have a similar situation, which is, I see that we are still crisscrossing the EMAs, and the flow, the main direction here is also not clear. I continue to investigate. I go to the 4 hours. Now you're going to answer me. Do you think we have a clear flow here? It's not that clear, right? I'm going to show you how a flow should look clear. And this is the kind of information that this is the first thing you want to get. Like no matter what, once you open your charts, you need to get this direction set. Should I buy? Should I sell? Or should I leave it? Because that's also a decision. If there is no clear direction, then just leave it. So when I look here at the 4 hours, I see we are crisscrossing. Okay, it looks like we're going above the EMAs, but we're coming down again. And once again, we are crisscrossing. Should I buy or should I sell? It's not clear. Let me show you the daily. Looking from the daily, I can see, okay, we're going above, below and above those EMAs. The 200, it's still here, holding. Okay, fine. Price was able to go above the EMAs. Now it's holding above the EMAs. It came a little bit below, but it got strongly rejected. And I see that it was not able to hold below that, even the 20 EMA. This tells me this is my direction. It should be something that you open your charts, and you know what something Naveen always says, even your dog, your grandma should see it. Yeah, it should be something like this. It should be so clear the direction you should be trading. That's how you know. Aussie CAD, I should be buying, not selling, buying. Got it. Okay, so now that you have this information, you understand which direction to trade. This is the most important thing that you need to check whenever you're looking for this kind of breakout. Prior to the breakout, actually, you want to take an entry prior to the breakout, first understand which direction you should be trading. So now that I understand which direction I should be trading, I should be buying Aussie CAD. This is the moment when you're going to go to the second tip, which is how can I be sure that it's not only coming from Aussie CAD, right? Because it could be coming just from this pair alone, just from Aussie CAD for some reason, but I need to make sure that it's not only about Aussie CAD. It's more like overall, I have the bigger investors buying Aussie or selling CAD. So for that, I need to look what? Correlation. I need to check correlation from that same time frame. So I'm observing here the daily, and I'm going to check correlation also from the daily to understand, do I have my bigger investors looking to buy the Aussies or looking to sell the CADs? By the way, I just opened my charts. I want to do something today. Why should I be looking the daily? I need to wait so many days for me to be able to trade. We are not going to be trading the daily. The daily is just there to give us the direction. But I'm going to show you exactly what we are looking from the daily for us to know that whatever we do an entry prior to the breakout, it has a higher chance to break in our direction. So looking at that same time frame, let me go here to market condition that we have right now. So I'm going to look at correlation. What do I want to see in correlation? I want correlation to also support that same idea that I have here. I want to buy. So Aussie CAD is the one that we evaluated, and I can see the direction here is clear. Look at this one. The direction here is clear. Direction. Here's the opposite, right? This is pound Aussie and euro Aussie, and you see direction. All of them telling me the big investors, they're also looking to buy the Aussies. If they're interested to buy the Aussies, then what is my job? I also want to buy the Aussies. So this is your second tip. Check correlation. So let's go again. First tip, what is the first tip? Identify the right direction from the market. What is the right direction you should be trading? And how do you identify that? You want to look at the charts and you want to see price respecting the same direction as the EMAs. You don't want to see price going above and below the EMAs, because if you do that, the time frame that you're observing doesn't have a clear direction. Okay, so first tip is this one. Second tip is look at correlation. You want to find that same direction is being supported by multiple pairs. So not only Aussie CAD in this case, because I'm observing Aussie CAD, not only Aussie CAD, but either the Aussie group or the CAD group should support that same direction. The third tip is going to be identify your level. But how are you going to identify your level? You're going to identify areas where other traders, they are also putting their stop loss. Let me explain this one a little bit better. So let's take a look. We're going to continue to watch here correlation together. And we want to identify who was the last guy who bought, in this either who bought or sold. And once I identify that, I know that's where his stop loss is going to be. For example, if I look here at Aussie CAD, I can identify this is my last guy who bought it, right? And if this guy decides to buy this, there are a few levels that I'm observing. Either he's going to put their stop loss here, or they're going to put their stop loss here. So you see that it doesn't need to be exactly that specific price. You're observing levels. I'm going to help you to identify exactly which level. Just stay here with me. So we are observing then this level here. It's either this level or this level here. Continue to observe it. You can even mark some lines, put some lines there to help you to identify it. Because we're not going to stay here on the daily. We're not going to continue observing this one here from the daily. We're going to go to a lower time frame to take a look at it. So if we just draw those lines, they're going to help us to keep track of those areas from the lower time frames. So that's something that you can do yourself. Now let's take a look at Aussie dollar. From Aussie dollar, we also have, it looks like this is my last guy. This is my last guy who made the move to the upside, who bought it. And if I'm this guy who's buying this, where am I going to put my stop loss? Right there. It's either there or it's here. So you continue to observe those levels. Let's continue. For this one here, I can identify, if I put my mouse, you can see this is the guy for Aussie CAD. This is the guy here for Aussie dollar. This is the guy for Aussie yen. This is the guy here for Aussie Swiss. And you continue to do that. You do that from correlation to identify better your levels. This is the guy. And for pound Aussie, it's either this guy or this guy. But looking at correlation, it looks like it's going to be something around those prices. Could be those prices as well. So what you're going to do is you continue to observe, mark your levels, and you want to see when the whole group reach that level. So for example, if I were observing the correlation here and identify that we're able to come to this level and I have a response, we're going to talk about this response quite soon. If I see that we have a great response from there, then if we had like a very strong movement like this, and I can see this also from correlation, then I can identify that's the level that my big boy is also observing, because that's what we want. So you want to identify your level. Identify the level where bigger traders, they are also putting their stop loss. And you want to trade, you want to observe, not trade, how price react from those levels, also observing correlation. The fact that you're observing correlation is just going to help you a lot to make sure that whatever you're watching from the charts, you have the bigger investors, you have like big money supporting you. So there are great chances that that trade is going to perform. That's why we emphasize so much about correlation. It's like, use it, do that extra job, don't be lazy. 3 minutes, 5 minutes that you need to take that extra job for you to identify that very small but very important detail. Where is the level that my big investors are also observing? So let's recap. What is the first point? Identify the direction of the market. And how you're going to identify the direction from the market? You do not want to have price crisscrossing the EMAs. You don't want to see that. You want to look at the charts and you want to see prices supporting the EMAs. Supporting, it's holding. The EMAs, they're holding. They're holding the EMAs, especially the 200. They're holding. So your direction here, it's set. Second point, check correlation, which we have already done now. Check correlation to see that not only one pair, but multiple pairs, they are also saying the big investors are looking at that direction. Third point, identify your level. Identify your level by looking at who was the last guy who bought or sold and where would they put their stop loss. So you're going to be observing this level. Okay, Mariana, I got it. Easy peasy. I can do this with my eyes closed. Now it gets to the fun part. That's when we go into a little bit more technical, because right now we didn't talk about technicals. We just talk about the logic, right? Direction, this is the logic from the market. Correlation, also a logic. Identify a level, also a logic. But now we are going to, and why you want to see that level. So that's important. So now we are going to go into more details of, now that I identified those 3 points, what should I see from that level? That's something that Vin talks quite often and I just love it. I don't have anything that I can use it here. So this towel now is going to help me to represent what I'm going to talk about. Imagine that I have a towel that is very wet, and what you're going to do is you're going to press it. You're going to press it until you cannot press it any further and no more water can come out of it. What does it represent? This towel here with water. This represents opposite party. You want to get rid of opposite party as much as possible for you to be able to take an entry prior to a breakout. But how do you do that? So let's go back to the charts now. So now that you identify your level, it's very important for you to see the reaction from your party. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Aussie CAD. And here I'm going to go one time frame lower. We're going to do a little bit more technicals. Everyone is going to be able to apply this, and I want you to finish this video already being able to apply that information to your trades. So it doesn't matter what kind of edge you trade. This information is going to help you to apply whatever edge you trade in the market from the lower time frames, because it's going to help you to understand better the direction, the power of the direction, the quality of the trade that you're about to take, and the chances of you to make money from it. Okay, so it's not this one, then it continues going. And what you want to see first is you have a strong reaction from your big boy, right? Because you're looking to buy. You want to have a strong reaction coming from the buyers. So now is the moment we're going to start pressing the sellers, because the sellers here in this case is my opposite party. So we're going to start pressing a little bit the sellers. And what do I want to see now? I want to see the next attempt from the seller to fail. What do I mean to fail? I want to see the next attempt, look in the same time frame, no need to change it. I want to see on that same time frame that whoever was interested to sell, they couldn't sell anymore, and we have a higher low. So far so good, right? So we got to our level. Once we got to the level, actually I'm observing either this level here or this level, anything in between, it's good. Once we get to the level, so let's say that you are the person who is going to take the towel. It's like you take the decision to take the towel. That's you. You appear. You were there. Before, you're not there. The towel was wet, waiting for someone to press it. Then you came and you started pressing. So that's you. That's you there, and you identify, someone is pressing the towel. Now that you see someone is here pressing the towel, you have your big boy bank. Now you want to start pressing that, and you want to see sellers tried and they're not able to make a lower low. Quite the opposite. We have a higher low. Why do you want to see a higher low for me? Why exactly a higher low? Because it shows buyers' desperation, because now they are taking from higher prices. And second, it represents the failed attempt of the sellers. So identifying that you have after the reaction that you have a higher low for me, it's a good sign of I have my big boy slightly desperate and my opposite party dying. Like slowly. It's not dead yet. This is still a very, very aggressive move. It takes time. Let's continue to observe it. Then from this area, we see once again, very strong movement. By the way, I also took a trade here. I took a trade around this area, also the breakout of that area. However, today I'm going to be discussing this trade here, just because it was a trade that we took with the students today. But there are actually multiple opportunities to take a trade inside of this area, to take an entry prior to a breakout. We're going to cover specifically this one. That's why I'm saying, if you have the logic, you can apply different edges, different ways of looking, and your chances are going to increase a lot once you have also the big boys coming with you. So now that I have my buyers saying they're here pressing the towel, and I can identify here that the towel is getting slightly drier. From this moment here, I see this is my last seller, this is my last seller, this is my last seller, this is my last seller. I see that he's still trying. So we're not like, we didn't get rid of this guy yet, right? And after he had tried so many times, we have the higher lows forming. Finally, we're able to go above that area. So once we're able to go above that area, this moment here, it does not mean that the towel is completely dry. There are some trades that you could have taken based on that logic, but we're not going to be discussing about that. We're going to be discussing about once you got rid of those sellers, what do you do next? So you pressed a little bit, and you see, ooh, the towel is getting very dry. So now you want to go with, so this is one way of doing it. Once I identify that I have my opposite party, the guy who started this move, he's done. That's when I go to press the towel even more for me to be able to do an entry prior to the breakout. And like this, make multiple R's from it. Because only like this, you can put a very tight stop loss. So now that I identify opposite party is done, opposite party have tried so many times and he has failed, I want to continue to press the towel. Now that I have this move here, I identify this is my guy who started the move, this is my guy who started the move, and we're gonna remember the third tip that we're discussing, identify your level. So I did exactly the same. I identified my level here, which is what is the level where if any buyer was looking to buy, where would they put their stop loss? This is my level. This is my level that I'm observing. Now that I'm pressing the towel there, I still want to be able to trade from a good level, right? I don't want to buy this high. So now that I identify the level, I'm observing either this level here or this level. Again, do it with correlation. This is going to help you a lot. It's going to increase the chances of this trade to perform. So now that you got to those levels there, and I can see we're coming very close to those levels. That's when I press this towel so hard to the point that just like one last drop comes out of it. So I'm going to show you how it looks here from the 1 hour. How it looks from the 1 hour. Why am I moving to the 1 hour? Why I'm not staying here on the 4 hours? Because this area here, it's very sensitive. Once I got to this area, you see that we did a lot of work on the daily. We understood the daily. We understood the level from the daily before we were able to go to the 4 hours. If I want to go to the 1 hour, I have to do exactly the same here on the, if I want to go to the 1 hour, I want to do exactly the same here on the 4 hours. I want to read all the details from the 4 hours and identify also my level before I'm able to go one time frame lower. Going to the 1 hour, now that you got to this level here, look at the reaction from that level. It's so aggressive. It's so strong. The buyers are like, damn, the buyers are here. They are now pressing that towel again. And this is a moment when you want to, remember what I told you, you press it so much that even not a drop comes out of it. You want to do exactly that with the sellers. Look at this. Buyers, are the sellers strong? Very strong. They were not able to make a lower low, but they are still strong. This is a strong candle. I'm going to show you how it looks when it just a few drops come out of it. Buyers are coming. Are the sellers now getting weaker? Do we have drops coming out of it? Not yet, but it's happening. The sellers now are getting weaker. Look at the multiple candles, like just some drops now, just some drops following. Here, it was like a lot of water coming out of the towel. So now you can see there's still some water coming out of that towel, and you can see now it's dropping. Again, higher lows for me. And you can see here, it's almost not dropping anymore. You have to press it so hard for something to come out of it. This range is exactly the moment when you want to look for an entry. So what we did here was, we were in the 4 hours, we identify our level. Once you identify our level, you go to one time frame lower. And once you go there, you want to press those sellers, press them. press them, press them, press them so much. Meanwhile, you can see higher lows for me. And here in this very tiny, that's when you know, okay, prepare because the breakout is going to happen. You have squeezed all the sellers from that towel enough for you to know it's gonna go. But you see that this part that we discussed about the entry came right in the end. We talked about identify your direction. We talked about looking from correlation. We identified whoever bought or sold, where would they put their stop loss? Finally, that's the moment when we start pressing, we start looking for an entry. Because I know that we want to go to the charts immediately and we want to search for that small range for us to be able to take a trade. But if that 3 steps that we discussed before, it's not there, it's like you're just guessing. You're playing a 50-50 game, and that's not what traders do. They have a high possibility that the trade is going to perform in that direction, and that's what you want to do also. So that's when I prepared to take an entry once I saw that, ooh, I can see that price is ranging here, and they're not even able to go any further than that. It's ranging so tight. That's actually what I want to see. I want to see that range so tight that really tells me there is no more water in that towel. And then because you have no more water in that towel, let me ask you, what is the chance if you take this towel, if you had pressed it a lot, right? Let's say that you do this on your floor. You press it. Now let me ask you, what is the chance that another drop is going to come out of this towel and wet your floor? A small chance. Same here with if you put a stop loss around that small range. What is a chance that another drop is going to come out of it and is going to stop you out? It's going to wet your floor. It's very small. So this is the moment when we can do a little bit tighter stop loss and we can look for that breakout to come. And even if you trade inside of that range, so let's say, for example, if I had entered, let's say here, I was not awake here. This was in the middle of the Asia session. It was beginning of the London session. So even if I had entered, let's say here, and the breakout hadn't happened and I had been stopped out here, that's okay. You can do that. I mean, you might be stopped out, but you know the trade is coming. Maybe it's just waiting for a better time of day to perform. Maybe it's waiting for some news, but you know the trade is going to perform. So even when you get stopped out, you can still give yourself a chance to enter again. But if you don't have the right direction, if you don't have correlation, if you don't have a good level, if you haven't pressed your towel that much, then applying this information, it's not going to work. So do all this work here before you're able to take an entry inside of those prices. And even if you get stopped out, you know you can try it again. So guys, that's it. Bye-bye.